Welcome to the Mario Nawfal Crypto Roundtable Show, folks. We are joined with a absolute stellar cast on a historic day here in Crypto. Trump live on his signing of the historic Genius Act. Moving forward, we're seeing a lot of legislation move to the final stages of becoming law here in the United States. A lot of posturing from Trump and larger figureheads at the political sphere in the U.S. for pro-crypto adoption. The charts on Bitcoin having a little bit of a sneeze on the news, but Ethereum has been absolutely on fire, and altcoins are waking up with a vengeance. I'm feeling great about it. Joined to the great cast here today. Kind of go around the room and get introductions from everybody. Asun, good to have you back on the show, sir. How are you doing?
I'm doing good today. Really enjoying the market action right now. I'm looking at the total market cap right now at 3.7. Good, healthy pullback. Getting the stable coin legislation. If everybody knows me, I'm a big proponent of stable coin summer. Looking at Curve, looking at Frax. Everything it looks like it's doing what it's supposed to be. Narrative looking real great. It's a good time to be in crypto right now.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, it is. And this is the time that it pays to have had conviction and to have been involved with crypto when it wasn't horribly popular. You spend a lot of your time kind of being mocked, except for, Bitcoin maxis, they're constantly living in ness, you know what I mean? But altcoin holders, they have 3 years of you're a fool. What the heck are you doing with your money? And then 3 or 4 months of, oh my God, I'm a genius. Screenshots are coming all over the place. And then they fall drastically off of their shelf, usually back into the bear markets. But it's a continuous up into the right movement in general. I'm feeling good about what I'm seeing on the charts. Woo, thank you for joining us on the show. I've never had a chance to be with you on a show before. Give a quick introduction and let the people know what you're all about, man.
Yeah. Thanks for having me, man. It's a great lineup we have here, and I'm super excited to be here. This week has been great. Honestly, every time I wake up, things are green. So you can't, things can't go wrong with that this week. So I am head of social at Denari Labs. We're a tokenomics agency where we help companies that bring in that want to start building and designing tokenomics to their platform. And then we also have the consultancy side where we help them guide them through the whole way. So in this space for years, seen some wins, seen some losses, but just happy to be here today, man.
Well, you can't get lucky if you ain't at the fair. That's what my dad always said. So, Travis, you're joining us on the show. It's good to have you, brother. How are you feeling? The market's trying to act a little bit skittish on Bitcoin, but Ethereum and altcoins have been absolutely ballistic. Travis, how are you feeling, my man?
I am feeling good. It's great to see so many friendly faces. Look at all these awesome people here today. What is up, Arena? Nice to see you. Nice to see you, Mr. Asun. All kinds of good people in the house today. So how do I feel? Market seems, hit 4 trillion last night.
Yeah.
I'm watching that as like, and it popped and then it dropped back down. So I think that's probably a little bit of a resistance point overall for the overall crypto market. And I mean, didn't we in the last bull run, Drew? Didn't we hit wasn't 3 trillion near our top of the last bull run?
It absolutely was.
So this is probably going to hit about close to 5 trillion. I don't think we'll go over 5 trillion this bull run, or at least through October. But then again, man, this whole space is a little bit different now with all the companies and the Bitcoin treasuries and the corporations and the strategic reserves and the states and the Trumps and all the things.
Well, now we have the most popular person on the planet, Trump, talking about crypto live as we speak right now. These are unprecedented times. We have ETFs gone live. We have all these reasons for Federal Reserve rates to come down. Yaboyski, glad to have you on the show, man. Do you feel like this time is different for crypto, or is the 4-year cycle going to remain in control regardless of U.S. posturing for pro-crypto legislation?
There's certainly going to be things that are different, but what is the 4-year cycle when you really boil it down to brass tacks? It's supply and demand, and that's economics 101. I just posted a meme yesterday, just making fun of all the people not so long ago, a month ago, 2 months ago, all seasons canceled, all seasons canceled, all seasons canceled. That was the echo chamber from the Bears for the last couple of months. And it just feels, it feels good to be, to be correct on your predictions, but I think that some things are different in that institutions are involved with BlackRock, governments are buying with the Bitcoin strategic reserve. So the days of Bitcoin dropping 90+%, I think, are over. So to put a nice cherry on it, a lot is different, a lot is the same.
Yeah. I mean, there's something that keeps me up at night, the terror of Bitcoin now that we have these ETFs live, and now that we have BlackRock comparing Bitcoin to gold. The terror that I deal with up at night is worrying that Bitcoin's about to go on an 8-year bull market like gold did once those ETFs actually went live. Gold's ETF went live 2004. And it basically was up and to the right only. Max Payne was up only on gold all the way on up for 8 years from 2004. So, that is in my mind. But I'm just basically, the more Bitcoin I can get, the better. I'm avoiding, like Irina. We have all these things going on, this hyperbole scenario. What do you think is the more advantageous place to take profits into at this point? Because we see the governments have no intention of stopping printing. Like, we have the one big beautiful bill that's already been pushed forward. There's 2 more spending bills that are coming for the US. The value of the US dollar continues to fall. Irina, as we see these markets expand, where the heck do you even take profits into? Is it only Bitcoin, or how do you handle a situation like this?
Well, Drew, as I've been saying for the past 5 years, people just don't gamble. Like, don't take this space as gambling. And for all the builders, my advice is always, well, disrupt the real world, disrupt the real businesses. And that's the reason why we launched the business case for AI and blockchain. Initially just for the blockchain, but now AI is stepping in and it's really eating the market of blockchain, and kind of the two are coexisting together. And there's so much to do in this space. Like, there is a big debate about sustainability and energy consumption of AI. There is a need to decentralize AI. There is a need to create much better social applications that are protecting our data and privacy. Like, I am in this space for the values and for changing how we fundamentally use the internet and what the internet looks like. So the builders who are, really shipping value keep seeing their tokens also going up, maybe not skyrocketing in many cases, but if they're really delivering value to the businesses they are disrupting, to the social goods, social applications, like that will just steadily go up, and it's a good investment over time. But if we talk about meme coins, if we talk about all the market speculation, well, that's a casino. Just don't go there. Stay away from it. When it comes to inflation and dollar and Bitcoin, that's a difficult question, because we are in such a unstable world right now. Like, nobody's safe, right? Any country you go into, any currency you touch, there is no stability and there's no predictability. And like, everybody's pretty much scared, myself including, when Trump starts talking, because we don't know if it's going to go up, down, if there's another positive or negative thing that will happen the next minute, because we've been in this situation of uncertainty for the past sort of 7 months. So just keep building, like, focus, find your real utility, go out, touch the grass, enjoy life, think in terms of currencies, in the now, because nobody knows what tomorrow holds for us.
Well, it's an interesting landscape looking at that loss of buying power and people wanting to take advantage of being their own bank in crypto. I got a great team from Solnic Coin that's joining us, and thank you very much for partnering up and sponsoring this show. I'm obviously able to talk about all this great alpha, but at the last portion of the show, we're going to be digging into the project Solnic Coin. But if you can, give a quick introduction to everyone and kind of what this greater landscape, Paul Atkins being open and bullish to the development of crypto onshore in the US. How are founders handling this? Are they starting to eye the US as a potential headquarter spot if things get put into law?
Well, I think so. I think that the technology and the brain power is in the United States, always will be. And I think that Trump realizes that and realizes that it's at risk if we don't make it easier for developers and founders here in the US to implement that and keep us ahead of the game. But overall, it's always going to be a global jockeying for position type event.
Man, that's what I want to see. I want to see this development come to my. I am American bias. I am based here in America. Just full disclosure, right? But it has been kind of maddening, sitting in the global economic hub of the world, watching all these smaller countries essentially building out their framework for regulatory clarity and crypto use, while we sit there with our hands tied behind our back. It's been maddening. So it's nice breath of fresh air to see these laws being pushed forward. We're also joined by Pat F. Scott down there. Pat, let's get an introduction from you. It looks like you're from Dynamo DeFi.
Yeah, thanks for having me. First time on the show. Founder of Dynamo DeFi, which is a DeFi media and validator service, and also the head of growth at DeFi Llama, which is one of the biggest.
I use it all the time.
Great. Love to hear it. And yeah, there's a saying in the space, slowly, then all at once. And I feel like the all at once part is hitting this week. You've got stablecoin supply crossing $260 billion for the first time ever. You've got the Genius Act establishing a regulatory framework for stablecoins. You've got the Clarity Act, which just passed one house of Congress that's establishing framework for commodities versus securities.
Right.
And like you said, I'm based in the US too, and it's been extremely frustrating. I mean, let alone not being able to build in the here, not knowing whether we would get charged with something, go to jail, get sued by the government. But seeing that changing and the amount of talent and capital that's in the US, I think this is going to unleash a Cambrian explosion of entrepreneurship in the industry.
Absolutely. Well, and even just being in crypto in general, you had that old like Wild West vibe where, you're an outlaw, you're in crypto, you're going against the grain. Now it's kind of weird, we're like building this hybrid system with Wall Street, Bitcoin, and ETF flows generally are dictating kind of the ebb and flow of the market.
Then all the things you can build with AI now.
Right.
I mean,
like
there's starting to be more. There's starting to be more. There's been a couple of platforms that we've had on Mario Spaces over the last 2-3 weeks that are actually vibe coding dApps. And which I thought was interesting. I don't know how secure that process seems to be, especially with how AI likes to hallucinate things, But I think that we're starting to see. I do think I think that people who are doing security on smart contracts, that job's not going away anytime soon. You got to make sure the dirty dev didn't like stick in a little something. Seems to me that's like, it always surprises teams. Are like, oh, our dev was dirty. He put in a back door and we lost all our liquidity. I don't know. You never heard that story before. It seems to happen, right?
Right. Or the dev died, right? Yeah. Funds were spent right before he died. It happened. Travis, I wanted to ask you this too. I've seen what I call the trenches, but I include meme coin holders. I include altcoin holders as people that have been in the trenches. What's your vibe check on how people holding memes or altcoins are feeling right now? I mean, we're starting to see some really bullish signs. Are they waking up to this fact, or is the psyop of the longest accumulation market in history still worn them thin, do you think?
Well, I would say I wish Arena would have talked to me 5 years ago and tell me not to gamble on all these shit coins that I gambled on. I just found my Kraken wallet yesterday that I had gambled on Kusama, and I had put $26,000 in there. It looks like at one point I got up to 50-something thousand, and now it is $800.
Woo! Travis, I still have hope for that. I have hope for that because not because of its utility. That is like the most mysterious token, which actually represents cypherpunk movement and artistic movement, because it used to be the biggest like art movement and connected a lot of architects. I am so scared
to hear this ticker. I don't even. Oh my God, this is terrifying.
But it has limited supply. Yeah. So you see, like, because we're in the gambling space, everybody who discovers its supply,
Yeah.
I am pretty sure we'll go there again. But
I was excited
okay,
about it. So
disclaimer,
basically,
right?
Drew,
Because I'm
yeah. No, go ahead.
yeah,
Continue.
just for everybody's to keep everybody hopeful. There's a
Right.
lot coming. Lots of changes are coming to Kusama, Kusama Treasury, and Kusama Change,
All right.
driven by the
I
new
dumped it all.
VP
I dumped
of
it all for
ecosystem of
another
Web3
gamble.
Foundation.
I'm
Hey,
scared.
Yeah.
Drew, it is the Polkadot sort of test net, essentially, right? The parachain, the test net for Kusama, Kusama, and I was like, oh, I forgot that I put $26,000 on this back in 2001. I was like, dude, if I just put in a Bitcoin or if I had just put in anything else, it would have been a nice little thing. Oh, I got 60 grand in here. What? No. I have magically created a loss for the IRS.
Oh my
Great.
God.
Really good at that.
Well, don't top blast. I mean, I think this is a lesson for us all to not go chasing green candles. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Wait for the support levels. If you miss the entry point, you miss the entry point. I've learned in crypto, chasing mega pumps more often than not does not end up working well for me in altcoins, right? I can top blast Bitcoin all I want. And 4 years later, I'm fine. 4 years later to that, I'm even better. Timing.
But a lot of times, as your question was about the meme coins, how are people thinking about this?
Yeah, I mean, are the
a lot of times
up?
meme coin holders should get out of their meme coins almost immediately because like you hold them certain meme coins overnight, So it's like that's the gamble. It's almost like if you're it's almost like, well, so what do you do? Well, I day trade meme coins, and then by the time I go to sleep, I get out of every one of them. Like that's what you should do, because if you hold them, you're going to get wrecked most of the time. Like literally, like most of these meme coins that pop out, like unless you pick a really good winner, and there are so many of them and so few really big winners, like you got to be lucky. You got to have like godlike luck that like strikes you with lightning 7 times, because that never happens. Oh my God, I hit a token. I put $1,000 in it. Now it's worth 40,000. Like it doesn't happen usually, unless you're scamming, unless you got like some sort of cabal.
Well, the platform where a lot of the scammy type Solana tokens that we saw really catch that, Solana meme coin fever pitch were out of Pump Fund. But we did see Pump Fund. They came out with their own token, many different promises of revenue sharing and all this, kind of back and forth, unverified information have been flying around the internet. But what I'm looking at on Pump Fund's price performance on the release of the token is very, very bad. Now, it's a time frame where altcoins are starting to wake up, but Pump Fund's token is seeming to be quite limp. And I won't end up saying the rest of the sentence that I wanted to say there because it's inappropriate for the kids listening at home. Yaboyski, are people going to see, because Pump Fund was a great revenue producing system at a point in Solana's run. Do you think that their token has any chance of a resurgence? It's still holding around $1 billion market cap and fully diluted. But are the people that kind of hammered into this and are now down and looking at any chance of an escape pump on this thing?
Rising tides floats all ships. However, when you take a meme coin to $1 billion pretty much overnight, it would be, the most logical thing to go into distribution. And then I'm a Wyckoff guy. That's what I'm known for. And reaccumulate. And you talked about, these long periods of, don't chase green candles, don't chase waterfalls. I think it's dangerous to try to catch the bottom. And I think it's dangerous to chase green candles. But in reality, cryptocurrency, for all of the volatility that it's known for, in reality, when you get down to brass tacks, there are these moments. There's these like 5% is just scary. Oh my God, FTX went to 0. Oh my God, the war in Israel. Oh my God, the tariffs are, the sky is falling. The sky is falling. 5% of the market is like that. 5% is just, you can't lose. Go to any slot machine you want and you're going to make money. Everything is ripping. 5% is like that. And then really 90% is just in these boring accumulation moments. And, if you're a real investor, that's your friend. You know what I mean? That's your friend to DCA, dollar cost average, into fundamental projects and get your average price down. And then enjoy the 5%, pumps. that happened.
Well, it was easy to bet against Solana when it was down at $10. People quieted real hard when Solana started making it to the nearly $300 level. It's been easy to discount Ethereum, right? A lot of doubters on Ethereum, and now we've seen Ethereum rise in its dominance. It's now dominating almost 12% of the entire market cap of crypto, which is sitting right under $4 trillion. It's not much to sneeze at here. It's $400 billion market cap, adding $130 billion over just the last 2 weeks. So a major, major influx. But something that we see, and I want your guys' opinion about this, is the change of application from BlackRock's Ethereum ETF to now allow staking. BlackRock wants their ETH ETF to allow staking. Now, I have had some sources that are very, very close to the current in the know about what movements are happening on ETFs, saying essentially if this moves forward and is approved, staking on Ethereum, it's basically like nitrous oxide being added to the gasoline tank of the Ethereum price vehicle. Now, I'll roll this to Pat. Pat, staked Ethereum ETFs. First, do you think that they're going to happen this year? And secondly, would it matter for price action in your opinion?
Yeah, so breaking this down, first, even before this, the inflows to Ethereum ETFs have been completely off the chart this month, nearly $3 billion so far. And for comparison, that's more than half of the inflows to Bitcoin ETFs. And in the past, that's not been the case. Bitcoin's been
completely
far away dominant, completely dominant. And that's already changing before staking. So short answer, yes, I think it would have a huge price impact if it were to happen, because then you not only have this, I think Fidelity is pitching the Ethereum narrative as it's an on-chain economy. You not only have that narrative, but you also have the fact that it's now a yield-bearing asset, and you have it. And as far as whether it's going to happen, my take is all the signals from the current administration, the bills that are being passed, the dropping of various cases against crypto companies, all the signals are that they're going to go out of their way to approve crypto applications, whether that's ETFs or go ahead.
No, I mean, you're saying something that's being echoed by the chair of the SEC. Paul Atkins literally just said that the SEC is considering an innovation exception for regulations to promote tokenization, right? So essentially, Paul Atkins is signaling that they're going to be clearing the way for what you're talking about here, Pat. I think it's happening on the underside. It's just not really been acknowledged yet. And this is where the crazy part about this comes is ETFs on BlackRock's Bitcoin ETF, the whole slew of them, OTC desks are starting to get a little bit difficult to get that Bitcoin to fulfill those orders. Supply and exchange is falling. This is where that supply squeeze happens. Pat, are we sitting at the edge of a tangible Bitcoin supply squeeze, or, you know, maybe the powers that be in Wall Street just create derivatives or paper representation of Bitcoin in future shares? What's your take? What's your take on that, Pat?
My take on that is it's tough to imagine. I'll be cautiously pessimistic that I don't think there's going to be
cold water. Give me the cold water, because I'm
cold water is I feel like these assets are liquid enough that they're that a supply, and there's enough heads up that this demand is coming, that a supply squeeze on that scale seems what could be surprising to me. That being said, this is going to be incredible for price. I do think if staking gets added to the Ethereum ETFs and you have a significant portion of ETH is held in these ETFs, it does create some risk for the network,
right?
Because then you have large portions of the total staking on the network will actually be effectively controlled by BlackRock or other TradFi firms.
Absolutely. And that, if that were to occur, would screw up with the Ethereum being deemed as mature by this new Clarity Act. Like, there's a lot of designations that are in these bills that require a certain amount of decentralization, of controlling wallets of the tokens, things of that nature. Now, I want to go back to Travis. The kind of unsung hero that I think is in the background is part of the three-headed bullish hydra. It's AI. Travis, we've seen AI. It had a great season, March of 2024, another secondary pump season in December of 2024. Now the aggregate altcoin market is really starting to cook with some gasoline. Do you think we're on the edge of another AI expansion, in your opinion?
Well, I think that traditional AI now, with all the major providers like, ChatGPT, Anthropic, even what Google's doing with Gemini, some of these other ones, and then all these other models that are popping up, like from China. There was another one that just came out called Kimi, which is like way faster than a lot of stuff that's happening on like even O3 with OpenAI's model and some of these. So the models just keep getting faster and keep getting faster. And I don't know which. So I'll tell you, that's one reason why I hired, a bunch of analysts to go in to do research on all these AI projects. And I said, I want to find the winners. And I don't know that a lot of the projects have the best projects have a crypto component to it yet. Now there's some that's utilizing compute, like, oh, check out our AI compute. That's great. Like, well, as these models get streamlined, they're not using as much power. AI is doubling every 5 months, according to Stanford's High Institute over there, the HAI. So when I look at it, like, I don't know, probably some AIs are going to pop because the uninformed masses are going to go, oh my God, AI, he says AI, and they're all going to go boom. Probably. But realistically, will they stay long term? I'm not so sure. And I see Asun over there stroking his beard. So I think you must have something to add to that.
There you go. Oh yeah, there you go.
Oh. No, I actually was looking at some of the coin market breakdowns that they had with different AI sectors. I think there's a couple of things that will have some good popping power when people come over here. DeFi AI is actually extremely interesting. If you actually look at some of the product uses and stuff, they actually are doing on-chain transactions. They're allowing the skill level and the information usage of a novel user to be able to do like very complicated DeFi steps. I believe that is extremely usable, and a lot of the new AI interfaces that interact in that manner, they streamline the login process. So you just go on there, you got your Gmail account, your Apple ID. They're not even really going to know they're even on a blockchain.
Yeah.
What's the guy Danielle Sesta over there? He has Hey Anon. It's a very, very good product, similar to the mock AI product. These guys just go in there, they can trade. I think DeFi AI will light some things up, and anything else to do with infrastructure.
Yeah.
But like the thing that they had with the real buzz, like the virtuals and that type of stuff,
that's dead.
You might be out of gas if you're holding those.
Yeah. What I honestly think is that every one of these major projects is going to have AI built into it in some way. AI as a standalone crypto thing. Probably there'll probably be some that pop off just because of how the nature of crypto works. But I could foresee every meme coin in the future having its own AI agent. I think we're going to start seeing a lot of these tokens, having AI agents that's communicating with other ones and trading in that. But I think, so having seen some of the stuff that's happening with, like Bitcoin OS that's being built right now, and the conversation we've had with those guys over the last couple of weeks, like, I think a lot of stuff's going to start popping off on Bitcoin. Like, now they can build in the Ethereumization and smart contracts of what they've done to be able to do that on Bitcoin, which means you can also do that on Litecoin, which means you can also do that on Dogecoin. We'll probably start seeing more of a return and building cool AI tools on top of that, having AI agents that's trading in Satoshis, and they're going off and grabbing data. Cloudflare is doing something where every time they have a conversation with a bot, they're charging X amount. I think we're going to start seeing a lot of these things being traded in Satoshis. And I think as the price of Bitcoin keeps getting higher and higher, people are going to start talking in Satoshis and be like, because one Satoshi right now is worth 0.0012 cents, right? It's like 1/10 of a penny. And so what happens when Bitcoin's $1 million, a Satoshi is going to be worth a penny, right? And it's like, that's a perfect thing for transacting, right? And so I think we'll start seeing more around that. But I think AI is an integrated part of every chain moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, we're touching on, I think, what can be deemed as altcoin seasonal alpha, because we see a lot of regulatory framework rolling out and acceptance of DeFi here in the US. I see a lot of flows expanding in terms of stable coins. It's been a stable coin super cycle so far. And Ethereum really starting to pop off. I think it's important to note that AI, it's going to have a season in the sun again. It's probably going to continue morphing as we've seen AI pumps morph from December 24 to December. You had, just some history is March of 2024, even AI adjacent projects, anything that listed, hey, I could do AI if you guys invited me to the party, that stuff pumped. And then it turned into AI agents. You had to literally be like a hardcore AI agent to pump like what we saw in December. And now we're approaching that third season. Just some interesting things to think about for everyone that's playing in this altcoin sector. And now for the people that are playing the long game, the Bitcoin side, people in 401ks potentially will be able to invest directly into crypto from their 401k. This is a $9 trillion retirement market that is being tapped for crypto access and gold in the next presidential movement. Now, Trump is set to open the U.S. retirement market to these crypto investments. This broke late yesterday. Now, when we see the potential, like BlackRock has conversated about 1 to 2% allocations to people. Then we saw the hints of 5% allocations. I really want to go around the horn here. How much of this retirement interest do you think we'll really get out of people? I mean, because for the most part, I think of someone with a retirement account, they just set it and forget it, or they let other agencies handle the investments for them. Whatever. I don't know. We all got taken off. I wonder if you can hear me still. Let's see here. I want to pull it up. Screen went odd. Let's see here. I kind of want to get the understanding from you guys on where this retirement investment vehicle really could take us, because we're looking at $9 trillion as a potential here. So I'll go to you first, man. There's $9 trillion being opened up with access points to crypto. Would you say 1 out of 10 people with these U.S. retirements would be interested? What number would you put it at?
I actually would go a little bit higher. I actually think we might go anywhere from 40 to 50. I just heard somebody say something real interesting, a play with Bitcoin, because it's like kind of high. So I was like, maybe people wouldn't mess with it. But somebody said a quick analogy. They said, every time you can get Bitcoin under $100,000 because it's going to $1 million, that's saving $1,000 off of every 100. And I was like, I think people would buy into stuff like that. And then you got your company matching it. I think because the company matches it, we're going to see some dumping. We're going to see people been waiting. Some people have been waiting to do this.
Oh yeah, there's going to be a lot of fiat into Satoshis, right? And that's why I think that, I mean, we're going to see, even just moving forward, as you said, $9 trillion. Like when the whole crypto market's around 4 trillion, right? Now you got 9 trillion going to try and knock on the door, and then we have gold. That's what? How much is gold now?
3,400. 3,400, right around.
No. How much for the total?
Oh, it's around 22 trillion. It's over 20 trillion
for gold.
Yeah.
Now once that gets tokenized effectively, right? Because I mean, here's what's crazy about the gold, $22 trillion. How much of that's paper gold?
Right. And where's the Fort Knox audit? Right.
Why are never been that? Well, where's the Fort Knox audit? Where's the Epstein audit? There's none of that.
Right. Well, just begging the question, you have all this fiscal debt, all these concerns of a debt spiral.
We need to cut expenses, so we're going to launch this big, beautiful bill with $5 trillion.
Well, there's 2 more. Woo-hoo! There's 2 more coming. It's like ShamWow. There's more, but wait. Now we're getting close to finding everything we can out about Solnic, but that question on why we have not seen a gold reserve audit really bothers me the moment I wake up, to the moment I go to sleep. Why is the U.S. government leaving the gold on the books at $42 an ounce when it's at $3,400 an ounce? That makes a difference.
That doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't make any sense
unless they don't have that gold in Fort Knox. Like
right.
I think so. I personally believe when in the 1970s, when or I think it was the early 70s, whenever Nixon was president, and then the president of France was like, "Okay, we want to get all our gold," and they came right into the Hudson Bay, and they're like, "All right, we're gonna load us up with our gold." Yep. And they're like, "Yeah, we probably ought to take it off the gold standard." Like, we probably haven't had a lot of gold since then.
Yeah, it begs the question, because we'd be changing a metric on U.S. value holdings from $10 billion in gold up to $800 billion, nearly $1 trillion.
And that's still less than 1/38th of the amount of trillions that we owe.
Exactly. But it would help. It would help in the short term.
Well, really what they should do is say, okay, 1 ounce of gold now is worth $27,000.
That was the concept, but it ain't happening that way, right? They just want to keep the Phantom of the Opera in the back behind the cloth.
There is
and
no
the
gold
strings.
in Fort Knox. That's like a lyric to a song.
Oh man. Well, I'm going to shift it over to the AMA, get the team from Solnic, Yaboyski, everybody to kind of explain to this, and I'll send it around the room. You guys can bounce and answer whoever you want to answer this question. But I see Solnic, and kind of the focus of this project has been around being your own bank. And me as a crypto maxi, I'm surrounded by cold storage devices right now, right? I'm a total self-sovereignty maxi when it comes to crypto. But what does be your own bank actually mean for the degen investors or people that are out there holding Solnic or other projects like it, in your opinion?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. The just like he's talking about with Fort Knox, and there is no gold at Fort Knox. And, this is the point of cryptocurrency. The point is not trust. The point is verification. And, we're Solnic, we are actually shooting a feature-length documentary called Be Your Own Bank. And what this is about is, I grew up in a small Midwestern hometown, and a lot of people know about the 2008 financial crisis. Less people know that, hey, this is why Bitcoin was created in the first place, because of the distrust in the financial system. But even less people understand and really grasp, like, hey, here's where big banks, big pharma left these small towns. Because where I grew up, it's still wrecked to this day. It still has not recovered from all of the banking corruption that was going on. And so that's what we're going through, is just exploring the opioid crisis and the where big banks left my hometown and a lot of other towns as well. And this is kind of almost like an ad to what our mission really is to liberate regular people and to provide the same tools that PayPal, Wells Fargo, and all these giant corporations have access to where they can grow their wealth. But instead of needing tens of millions of dollars of capital, you can put your money to work and be sovereign and get decentralized finance with $10 or $100.
Right.
So that's the mission.
Well, DeFi definitely empowers the little guy to go earn yield off their bags the same way that these mega players that have controlled the narrative for God knows how long, they've had these mechanisms available. But now DeFi is giving that power to the average person, and DeFi is being talked about at a literal presidential level. Congress, Senate, everybody is trying to figure out how the current system of money can integrate with DeFi so they don't. It's essentially adapt or die for banks right now. But I see that Solnic even is involved with, a staking platform. Can you kind of dive into how the staking platform actually works and what the current yield is within the staking?
Yes. So we have staking, and this is kind of just a rollout of some of the other dApps that we are creating with lending, borrowing, liquidity mining, all of these things. So staking was just one of the first things that we talked about that we were going to do. And essentially, people, part of the BYOB movement, you can lock up your Solnic and stake it for 90 days, 180 days, 365 days, or 720 days. And the longer that you stake it, the more yield that you're going to get, all the way up to 30% yield.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha.
And this is, again, back to the economics 101, price equals supply plus demand. All of the circulating supply for Solnic is 100% circulating. 5% of it is, or 6% of it's already been burned. And then 5% is locked up, via staking. So when we talk about a supply squeeze, this is definitely going to help with that, as well as liberate people and help them to earn yield on their money.
Nice. So I'm looking at Solnic, which actually kind of looks like Solnic. When you look at the graphic on your Twitter, which is, what is it? It's Solnic Coin. It sure looks like our friendly guy from the unnamed competitor of Nintendo.
No affiliation.
No affiliation with Solnic. It's not. He's not a hedgehog.
But yeah, he's a hedgehog, but no other affiliation.
It's really cute. So it almost looks like it. I mean, if I'm looking at it, I'm like, this kind of looks like it's going to be a game, but it's not a game. It's all set up as being your own bank, and so there's no game involved apparently, right? Even though it really looks cute, like it would be.
Yeah, it's the Memify. So it's a DeFi with we have a little character as the mascot.
Well, I wanted to kind of dive in. I like how there's tiers of timeframes for the staking locks. It's something that I watch very, very closely when I do staking. But you got some outlook for long-term holders. Like, how does the overall token model, the token design model, and tokenomics plan or aim to reward people that are longer-term holders of the project? Either one of you can give me that one, because that's I have a lot of long-term visionaries on this type of stuff. You know what I mean?
Sure. I think part of that is, supply control. Supply control is going to help the price go up, but we've got a strong community and a big group of people that have been invested with us since day one. The more supply control we have and the more credibility we have, the less that we've noticed that the sell pressure coming on the chart. We had a few rogue investors early on that we weeded out. And since then, just seeing the development of our products, being available to answer questions and, always show up, has just given us the credibility that people want to hold it. And then the more products that we produce are going to put more of the supply control in our hands to keep that going.
Yeah. And one thing that I'm really proud of, as far as our chart, most, if you want to put us in the meme category, which I do not, but if you wanted to put us there, 99% or 90+% of memes do not make it past 90 days. And one of my favorite things to look at is, if you just look at the chart, look at the weekly chart, not the hourly, not the 5 minute. A lot of people like to post screenshots of here's the last 2 minute chart. Look at the weekly chart. Every single bottom has more than doubled from the last. We continue to produce or add to our floor. It keeps making higher highs and higher lows on the weekly chart, and that's something that I'm really proud of. Every single bottom, not only has the tops went higher, but every single bottom has more than doubled from the last.
Absolutely. That's important stuff.
We've been doing this for 19 months now.
19 months you're in? Okay. When you mentioned some things
far.
are being built out, I've seen that there's conversation about like 2 upcoming dApps. Can you kind of dive into these upcoming dApps and what mechanisms within the ecosystem might actually benefit?
Yeah, so we're creating a few different dApps that are going to integrate and play sort of nice with each other, and the whole the whole point, the whole mission. Again, going back to the BYOB, going back to the documentary that we're filming, why it's so important to me, because this is like very near and dear to my heart. And I've been in cryptocurrency for a good while. About 2013, 2014 is when I first got involved into cryptocurrency. So I've done very well over the years, and my mission is to help as many regular folks as I can along the way. And so some of the dApps that we're creating are, it's going to be kind of similar to Jupiter or Radium, where you're going to be able to set up different liquidity mining protocols, where you'll be able to just put up different liquidity pools and earn money on your money. That's going to be one major factor, as well as we're creating our own stable coin. And that's a big thing of, like, going back to the macro conversation of what we've been talking about, of, sort of the digitizing of everything that is very important to the United States, because, Tether is one of the largest holders of its top 10 holders of the bonds. So the more that they get regulatory clarity, the more that it actually indirectly, even though, we've lost 98% of the purchasing power of the United States dollar, when you compare it to stinky crap compared to stinky crap, I get all of that. But they do want to hold the strength of the dollar. And the more that these stable coins have, are buying bonds, that strengthens the dollar. So one thing that we are doing in our project is we're creating a stable coin that is going to interact with the dApps, but part of the holdings, the reserves, just like Tether, they have reserves in Bitcoin, they have reserves in bonds, and they have reserves in cash. We're going to do a similar model, but we're also going to have reserves in Solnic. So as the market cap of the stablecoin rises because of demand, so too the market cap of Solnic is going to rise as well.
I got a question around this. So you go to your website, and it is solniccoin.io for those following along at home. There you go, or on the road, wherever you might be. And if you look at the very top of it, it says something that a lot of people might not understand. It says reforge and stake. Well, first of all, you go in, you enter, you're a savage. What is your definition of how reforging and staking, and what does that sort of gamification look like, and how can people maybe understand what that's all about?
Well, I'd relate it kind of like to my journey into personal finance. I grew up, very poor. My mother struggled with a lot of the Midwestern things in Ohio that I grew up with, that I talk about in the documentary. And so I really came from nothing. And a lot of my journey personally was just starting to invest and starting to put my money to work. And it became a game for me. And it became a game of, like, how can I create more value to create more income, to invest more? And how can I stop spending stuff so that I have more income to invest as well? Like, I still drive. Like I said, I've been in crypto since 2013. I've done very well for myself. I still drive a 2006 Chevy Silverado. Because that's the gamification of investing. That was really fun and life-changing for me.
You're giving me nostalgia here, because I'm kind of the same way. Like, even when I could last bull market, and obviously I'm doing good. Every time my car breaks, I'm such an egomaniac about my car that I just go fix it myself. I refuse, even though I have the money, to go pay mechanics to do it. I'm kind of psychotic about it. I like,
not me. I bought myself an Audi. I was like, dude, this is awesome. I want to sit in comfort. I'm tired of sitting in shitty cars. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna fly first class everywhere I go, but I like to drive around like I'm sitting in a first class
car.
I
got extenuating circumstance too. I got baby twins, and they would just take a rock right to the thing, so why even mess with it till they're old enough?
Oh, you get a used one. You guys are going Warren Buffett on me. Like, I drive a 1962 Oldsmobile, and I've had it. I got the same wife, the same house, the same car. I'm worth $470 billion. I'm like, dude, he's gonna die soon, bro. Like, go have some fun.
You know what? When they are less suspect around the vehicle, then I'll start thinking about it. But really, where my mind's eye in terms of looking for projects is definitely on DeFi and projects that are getting enabled and kind of integrated with this stable coin super surge that I see happening right now. Definitely, I checked out the chart. A really good, just generalized launch chart. You guys are launching into very bullish, sentiment right now. Can you kind of dive in? I want to see what would ensure the sustainability of these rewards for the long-term Solnic holders. You're going to have people coming in, seeing the ecosystem, seeing the greater growth. What is the long-term, kind of sustainability plan for people involved with the Solnic token?
Yeah, just I was in the I kind of relate it to my time when I was in the Army. So I was a part of the 160th Special Operations, and I went through all that stuff. If you ever seen like Hell Week and all that stuff, I went through all that. Rolling around in the mud, and just whenever you don't see a light at the end of the tunnel. And when we talk about being in the proper trenches, like I've been in the proper trenches. And so I just have this grit to me that I bring, and that the whole team, not just me, that we bring to this project, of this just grittiness of, we are just going to keep putting one foot in front of the other, and we're going to keep making things better. We're going to keep adding to the project. We're going to keep bringing value to people. We're going to keep helping liberate regular people from the shackles of, Big Brother overarching and all of that. So that is our mission. And as long as there is blood pumping through my veins, I will continue to press forward. And I'm not sitting here promising that it's going to be straight line up, green candles only, baby. Go ahead and max out your credit cards now. I'm not saying any of those things. I'm not saying that there's never going to be any red days or any red weeks. I'm not saying that there's never going to be any trials and tribulation. But what I am promising is that we will continue to make things better. We will continue to push forward regardless of what happens.
Love it. Absolutely. I mean, thank you for your service on the country, man. I mean, that is very, very awesome. I think the positioning is very, very good. The DeFi, but then you have the memify kind of representation through Sonic. My son came up and freaked out because he thought that I was on the show with Sonic the Hedgehog live. Not the case, son. Wrong.
I could just put my PFP up instead of my face if he wants to look at that.
That'll make it worse. He'll be like, Dad, you gotta get me introduced, man. We're at a really interesting crescendo, though. There's a lot of people that have been shooken out of the markets. A lot of people gave up. Now, this is kind of a macro question. I want either one of you can answer this, but I see a lot of bank level crypto custody coming. And bank level crypto custody is easy. Learning how to be your own bank, it takes a little bit of involvement. It takes a little bit of education. If banks roll out custody services like it looks like they're doing, is it going to make it more enticing for people to go figure out how to not let banks hold their own crypto? Or, are more people than not just going to kind of opt for these bank level custody services, do you think?
I think that, there is a easiness of centralized finance, and it makes things easier. And I think on ramping people into the cryptocurrency space via, being the easiest method possible, it has its value. And I do think that there's not necessarily like, you have the XRP Army maxis, Bitcoin maxis, you have all these maxis, and they sort of have this like world domination view of like, it's going to be my coin and my coin only, and there can be nothing else. And
it's
Big
scary.
Brother.
I'm surrounded by armies and gangs and all this stuff.
I know. And the thing is, like, I don't want to live in that world where there's one winner and everybody else is a loser, and Big Brother has control and has your thumb on you. I don't want to live in that world. So I am rooting for an ecosystem of coexisting and cohabitating where we're going to have our own roles. And my role in it is educating as many people as I can. I go, live every weekday on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch. And, I've been very consistent. I made over 2,000 videos in the bear market of 2022. The proper trenches. The trenches wasn't even a thing until 2024. They were talking about the trenches. I'm like, brother, the trenches was FTX. I don't know what you're talking about. But anyways,
dude, that was a crazy time. That was a crazy, and we were like pining, like, look, it still costs 19,000 to mine a Bitcoin, even though it's 15,000. I'm still buying, and I completely was there with you. Crazy times. Now we have the Genius Act on. It's all systems a go. Go ahead.
Thank you, John. I just saw the comment on YouTube, but I almost forgot to mention, like, on-chain is a big integration of that system where you have the sort of traditional finances integrating with the decentralized finances. And on-chain is somebody that we have partnered with where it's going to make the ease of on ramping into Solnic very, very easy. So basically, with on chain, like Amuse was talking about earlier, just being able to log in with a Gmail. So if you have a Gmail, you're going to be able to, with Apple Pay, Google Pay, credit card, debit card, anything like that, it kind of cuts out the middleman of all these exchanges charging these projects like, $150,000, and then you got to pay your $20,000 a month for market making, which doesn't go to you or your project. It just trades against your community. So on-chain is going to help with that problem of, taking the traditional system where you're going to be able to buy Solnic via Apple Pay, Google Pay, credit card, debit card, and it's just with a simple login.
Trying to explain to someone how to buy a meme coin that's not in the space. There's a lot of steps between your bank and the Phantom wallet, and this will remove that altogether. So you can tell your neighbor about the latest shit coin that you want to get, and you just have to show them a barcode or a QR code. They can click on that and go straight to buying that token. So we're going to be one of the first tokens listed with On-Chain Labs, and we're excited about that just for the onboarding purpose and getting your neighbors to be able to buy, or your friends to be able to buy, and even $10 or whatever they want to put in where they're feeling comfortable without the 35 steps to get fiat turned into a meme coin.
I love it. You can help your friends become shitcoin maximalists. I love that. That's what I'm a big fan of. I have a shirt that says shitcoin maximalist. I should have been Bitcoin maximalist, but I was not. I'm a Bitcoin minimalist. That's good. No, I appreciate it because it is so many hoops to jump through when you're trying to figure out how to get started on this. It's like crypto level 0. You don't know anything. Crypto level 1. Get them a Coinbase account, right? Typically, get them set up, baby step them. It's crypto level 2. Maybe you get yourself a MetaMask. You set that up and learn how to back up your keys. Then maybe you move to Phantom. You can't just go straight to Phantom. You got some steps in between. But now maybe with your Boyski and all you guys from Solnic Coin can help people figure this process out. So what is the one final call to action you would like all these listeners that are tuning in? What would you like them to do today to help out and spread the word around Solnic?
I would say, follow us on X, get tapped into the Telegram. I go live. I'm at Skis Crypto on TikTok, and I'm at Gayeski on Twitter, at your boy Ski on YouTube. So I go live Monday through Friday, and I don't just talk about Solnic. I talk a lot about the broader markets and just trying to help, like literally, I'm not just up here just blowing smoke. My mission is to help as many regular people as I can. A lot of my clients are, firemen, teachers, cops, moms. This is what makes me wake up with joy and fire in my belly, is helping regular people. So get tapped into the community. Follow Solnic Coin. That's going to be the main account as well on X.
Sure. And I'd say, everyone says do your own research. Do your research on Solnic. We've been around for 19 months. We're happy to answer any questions. We're very transparent. We've got the initial liquidity, which is locked, which is about $450,000, but myself and your boy Ski and some of the other whales, we've added about $100,000 of liquidity on 3 different chains. So we've got base chain. You can buy us on AVAX and also buy us obviously on Solana chain. But yeah, do your own research.
There you go.
Love it.
And it is Solnic Coin, SOLNIC coin.io. And your Boyski, I could have sworn, just by hearing your name, it sounds like you're Polish. You are Polish.
Is he actually? I think he's confirming. Hold on.
I am Polish, so that's where the name actually comes from. So when I was in basic training way back in the day, before Jesus's time, this was a long time ago, many moons ago. So I was in basic training, and my drill sergeant, he called me, like, my last name is Gayeski, and he called me Ski, and that was the first time I ever heard anyone say that. But from then on, like, everybody called me Ski. So that's just where the name it just stuck. It's Skis Crypto, your boy Ski. Like, all my brands are ski related.
There you go. I was like, you're from Ohio, but your boy Ski sounds Polish to me. But hey, I tell you what, this is a great pleasure. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in today.
Thanks,
Start
Ron.
off at the top. Pat, thank you for joining us today. Arena, always great to see you, ma'am. I tip my hat. Asun, you the man. We love you. Mr. Solnic Coin, I don't remember your name because I just see that there. Woo, good to see you. And your boy Ski, that is awesome. Thank you so much. And as always, Mr. Drew, it's a pleasure doing this show with you.
Man, the vibes are high. You know, the roadmap is pretty strong here for Solnic, and the chart looking pretty strong as well. So I'm feeling good about it. Thank you very much for everyone for joining us on this historic day in crypto. Trump out there signing some legislation we could have only dreamed of last bull market. And I think we're looking good. So everyone take care, and we'll be back on Monday. I keep forgetting tomorrow is not a work day, but we'll be back definitely Monday. And I'll be covering any emergencies that need to be covered as they arrive. But until next time, take care, everybody.
Thanks, Drew. Thanks, Travis.